DJ Vlad might have destroyed Drake's whole legacy with the comments that he made on the Akademiks interview recently. Both of these guys sat down and had a conversation about a bunch of different topics. They talked about, Lil Baby's possible indictment. They talked about, Vlad talking about buying no jumper. And then towards the last part of the interview, that's why I watched everything, you hear Vlad make an accusation about Drake that might change the way you look at him.
I will say, though, you know what I was impressed by? With all the shit and say not like us and everything, people talking about Drake, not one chick even erroneously filed a lawsuit or I thought there was going to be a few of those to take advantage of the moment.
At the start of the interview, I'm not going to lie, I agreed with Akademiks' questions so much. Like, he might actually be right. Like, no woman has actually ever came out and said that Drake did something foul. You might have caught him in the inbox a bunch of times. You might have found out that he did something foul, like try to sleep with the homie girl, Wayne girl. But we never heard nothing that was like strange, like, why he around. So I was a little thrown off when Vlad responded like this.
And there's been not one person that's accused Drake of anything.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if some shit starts coming out. Because from what I understand, when Drake first moved to like Hidden Hills, like they were wilding out in that house, and him and his homies were doing some shit that probably got covered up somehow.
And who was having they underage kids up in Hidden Hills? I've heard some celebrities was up there. I've heard of the Kardashians being up there. Kylie, the young one. So was our homegirls up there too? And what was exactly going on in them houses? Tell us, Drizzy. I want to know because I'm a parent. Hashtag parent gang in the comments. What was going on in Hidden Hills? And why was the hills so hitting, man? We going to find out about why them hills were so hitting in a second. But Drake, as a grown man, you mean to tell me that you was bringing females that was Kylie Jenner age when she was underage to the house? And what type of activities y'all was engaging in over there, man? That's what I want to know. If you know something about somebody in the industry doing something strange, especially with the kids, and you didn't say nothing, you just as guilty as everybody else. If you agree, right, just ask. But instead of getting all mad, you got to take advantage of this moment. Vlad is talking. He's letting you know right now he knows something that we don't know. So I started listening a little bit more. I started really dissecting. And then we got to this point right here. And it all made sense.
You know what I'm saying? And now maybe people got paid. And
I remember this party. I
heard some stories, but and I'm not going to mention them.
I know it was getting it in type shit.
I mean, some things could happen around that if certain people really started to make a lot of noise, but I think
maybe he's paying them off. I
think Drake is just paying them off. And so, listen, if you look at the R. Kelly situation, right?
So when we get to the interview that's about Drake in the Hidden Hills, and DJ VladTV conveniently talks about R. Kelly, I'm like, hold on. We all know what R. Kelly got accused of. And what R. Kelly got accused of is just disgusting. So are you telling me right now that Vlad all this time, because you had to feel like this before the Kendrick and Drake, you've been knowing that this is going on? All right. So, I want to take y'all to what Hidden Hills is, because we won't be able to understand the story until we get into Hidden Hills. So then shout out Jalopy, you know what I mean? Because he really broke down the whole Hidden Hills and brought me in on this part. So, yeah, let's bring him in.
You heard. You see what I'm saying? Now that we got that out the way, let's take a look at this Hidden Hills thing that they're talking about, all right? So apparently this was called the YOLO Estate, all right? And TMZ did an article where they talk about Drake selling the estate. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this was I want to say this was he had this the parties and all that stuff was going on heavy in like 2012, 2013 or something.
Now realize this around the time Revolt and all that start, things start coming up. People know things was coming up, bro. They had sons, bro.
In that nature, you see what I'm saying? And I think this is around the time people were accusing him of having well, it wasn't the accusation, she was actually there. What's the young
Kylie
what
Jenner?
are they called? The Jenners, the Kardashians. One of the Kardashians that was underage at the time was frequenting this place, and there's pictures of Drake holding her in a weird way and kissing on her when she was 16.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I believe that this is the place that these parties were taking place at, right? Now, this is the scary part.
Yeah.
Around the same time, there was a hoodie being sold. I want to say shout out to my boy Danny Phantom, and also shout out my boy. Actually, I don't even know if he want to be named. He might not be wanting to be named, but this information was brought to me. This hoodie was.
This is when it get deep.
Posted around this time, right? It's a hoodie. It's a Hidden Hills hoodie, right? Costs $120. You can go look this up yourself. What it says on the back is, isn't everybody hiding something?
See? So my thing is, everybody is hiding something. We got that as a confirmation. Shout out to Jalabi for pointing that out. He gonna make one more thing that I'm gonna bring up too, but he knows that all of this has to connect. People don't just make up. Why would you make up a hoodie that says, yeah, like Vegas? You go to Vegas, everything in Vegas stays in Vegas. Now, I'm also going to try to pull up footage, before this video ends to see if I can find that video with him hugging her, and we see if it's inappropriate or not.
Hold on. The hoodie says, isn't everybody hiding something? This is a Hidden Hills hoodie. You see what I'm saying? And it says, isn't everybody hiding something?
He might got a minor in the hoodie.
That's very interesting. Okay? And the Hoodie Hills, Hoodie Black, this is Drake related, the official website of Drake. Okay? That's weird.
It is weird.
That's weird. And this is what they do. These dudes, these rich guys, they're so arrogant. And they're so, far removed from society at this point that they believe they can't be touched, no matter what.
That's a fact.
Drake is finding out that this isn't true. That's why he's panicked. That's why he was panicking with the Kendrick battle, because he figured it didn't matter how he went, Kendrick wouldn't be able to say anything because the label would protect him. Drake bought into his own hype. Drake bought into his own manufactured hype in the music and with all the crazy that he was doing behind the scenes.
So that's why he's trying to get rid of the house. He wanted to get rid of it and detach himself from that house.
Things that he never thought he would get caught for. Okay?
Okay.
And it's insane to be so confident that you will put something like that on Front Street, bro. Yeah. That's very crazy.
It is.
I believe that this is about to start the avalanche that everybody's been waiting on. Okay? The avalanche where people are finally going to start to find out and see the facts that the people who were trying to run from it can't deny or can't hide. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And DJ Vlad might have been the person to really kick this off the right way.
See?
Now, Kendrick Lamar, I'm not saying Kendrick Lamar did it, but I'm saying just from a federal informant standpoint, DJ Vlad must be kicking off the avalanche of what's going on.
Now, here's my question, yo. Why do we keep acting like people are not adults and not like he's not busting nobody in the head and forcing them to do anything? He's just asking you a question. You know what I mean? And I agree. I think we got to remove the word informant. Yo, I got to say that the people that are on the show are the informants. They are. If you agree, right, they are. Those are the main informants and the ones that's informing us all the information. I want to say this real quick. Yayo just did an interview on Vlad, and he broke down exactly how you're supposed to move on there. You don't got to answer every question.
Who's at fault? Because people will say Vlad is the police or Adam is the police, right? Listen, who's at fault? The guy that gets on the show and talks too much, or the interviewer that asks the question and want to know if you're stupid enough to answer it?
I think we're grown men. I think you sit down and you say what you want to say. For example, people that know me know when I do podcasts, and I just did a bunch of them. Shout out to Cameron.
But look, I've seen Adam ask a young guy. He got tattoos over his face.
Yeah.
He's an artist. I don't know his name, but shout to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked him. He said, "Yo, so that was you in the shoe?" And he just sat there, and he did the right thing. I wanted to check him out because he did the right thing.
Yeah.
He asked him about a shooting. Do you feel like, because this is you work for the public, you know what I'm saying? You give information every day. You're not doing anything a news reporter's not doing different.
Right.
Do you think those questions are appropriate? Certain questions are appropriate to ask?
There are certain questions that I don't ask.
Right.
That I would not ask. And I steer away from it. I've turned down interviews with people with open cases who want to discuss those cases. Like, for example,
Cannot confuse these celebrities for being human. Y'all be making them feel like they not human. Y'all be making them feel like they can just be supernatural and they can't be touched. Nah, anybody can be touched. And the dark always gonna come to the light. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even Vlad, he's known this for a while, and that's why I keep going back to that, because had this interview not happened, how do we know? What else do Vlad know that he not telling us so he feel like we don't need to know? I'm past the whole culture vulture thing with Vlad, because I think that y'all just use that because he's white. Y'all don't use it for no other reason because he's white. So I'm past the whole culture vulture thing with him. Now I'm just at the point like, if you know certain things like this, forget crimes and all. This is different, bro. This involves kids and people live. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. So I want to know y'all views in the comments. What do y'all feel about this? Is Vlad, you think he know more than what he's holding us, or you think he's letting us all know everything now? Let me know in the comments, man. I also got 3 other channels above my head that might be more to your liking, man. Make sure you subscribe, hit the top bell, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here.